Lust. Lust is the serious longing of a person towards something. It is usually thought of as one's intense sexual desire. This may lead to fornication, sexual harassment, and other sinful and sexual acts. But lust is not just about sexual desires. It can also mean other forms of unbridled desires, such as for money or power. Henry Edward Manning explains that the impurity of lust transforms one into a slave of the devil. Greed. In Christianity, greed is defined as an inordinate desire to acquire or possess more than one needs. It is especially the desire of a person to acquire more wealth. Aquinas believes that just like pride, greed can also lead to evil. Greed is the selfish desire of a person to possess something more than they actually need. Gluttony. Gluttony is the overconsumption or overindulgence of anything to the point of waste. It is derived from the Latin word gluttire, meaning gulp down or swallow. Medieval church leaders such as Thomas Aquinas took a more expansive view of gluttony, arguing that it could also include an obsessive anticipation of meals and overindulgence in delicacies and costly foods. Aquinas also listed 5 forms of gluttony: laut, eating too expensively; studios, eating too daintily; nimis, eating too much; prepropere, eating too soon; ardenter, eating too eagerly; envy. Just like the sins, greed and lust, envy is an insatiable desire. It can be described as the resentful desire towards someone else's traits or possessions. It is born from pride and can sever a man from his neighbors. Bertrand Russell said that envy was one of the most potent causes of unhappiness, bringing sorrow to committers of envy while giving them the urge to inflict pain upon others. According to St. Thomas Aquinas, the struggle aroused by envy has 3 stages. During the first stage, the envious person attempts to lower another's reputation. In the middle stage, the envious person receives either joy at another's misfortune or grief at another's prosperity. And the third stage is hatred, because sorrow causes hatred. Pride. Pride is considered to be the worst of all deadly sins. Pride, also known as futility, is the opposite of humility. According to Christianity, pride is the mother of all sins and the devil's most essential trait. Pride is understood to sever the spirit from the God. Author Ichabod Spencer states that spiritual pride is the worst kind of pride, if not worst snare of the devil. In order to conquer this sin, one must try to cultivate the heavenly virtue of humility. Wrath. Wrath is the uncontrolled feelings of anger, rage, and even hatred. It reveals itself in the form of vengeance. People feel angry when they sense that they or someone they care about has been offended, when they are certain about the nature and cause of the angering event, when they are certain someone else is responsible, and when they feel that they can still influence the situation. According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the neutral act of anger becomes wrath when it is directed against an innocent person, when it is unduly strong or long-lasting, or when it desires excessive punishment, which might lead to as low as killing someone. Henry Edward Manning considers that angry people are slaves to themselves. Sloth. Sloth can be defined as absence of interest or the unwillingness to take an action. Unlike the other deadly sins, which are the sins of committing immorality, sloth is a sin of omitting responsibilities. Sloth, also known as acedia, can affect a person both mentally and physically. Mentally, it has a number of distinctive components like a lack of any feeling about self or other, boredom and sluggishness. Physically, it is associated with indifference to work. It finds expression in laziness, idleness, and indolence.